Um, so 4.3. Wait, I gotta go up. That's 4.3. This chapter explains why the Chinese Communist Party, or the CCP, gained support up to 1930 and up to 1945. During this period, the CCP grew stronger. The survival after the Long March, land reform propaganda, and the impact of the war against Japan, while the KMT became increasingly unpopular. The Long March and early survival. After the Long March ended in 1935, the CCP survived by establishing a secure base in Yantian. The incident helped create a temporary truce between the CCP and the KMT, which allowed the CCP to rebuild. Although the Long March was a huge military loss, Mao Zedong turned it into a propaganda success by presenting it as a heroic struggle. This helped improve the CCP support, especially among peasants, and strengthen Mao's leadership. Mao's leadership and strategy. Mao believed in the Chinese Revolution should be led by peasants rather than workers. Since China had a small industrial working class, he focused on gaining peasant support by respecting their needs and discipline, and improving discipline within the party. Mao also removed rivals and strengthened his control over the CCP, making his leadership more secure over time. Yan base and land reform. From 1936, the CCP was built in Yan, where it created a model communist society. The CCP members lived among peasants and provided education, healthcare, and supported, which increased popularity. Then do whatever you want. My teacher doesn't care. Land reform began in 1931, where land was taken from landlords and redistributed to peasants and soldiers. This helped attract rural support, even though some negative actions were hidden from the outside observers. CCP propaganda and I don't even know what that says. Rectification campaign. The CCP used strong propaganda to present Yan as an ideal society. Foreign journalist Edgar Snow supported this image, although he only saw that the CCP allowed him to see inside the party. Mao launched rectification movement in 1941 to remove opposition and strengthen unity. It began as a session, but turned into a purge of critics, resulting in arrest, torture, and thousands of deaths. By 1944, Mao had full control of the CCP. Also, impact of the war with Japan. After Japan invaded China in 1937, the CCP gained more support by portraying itself as a strong nationalist force. The CCP formed the Second United Front with the KMT, but the KMT carried most of the fighting. As Japan occupied major cities, the KMT retreated, which damaged its reputation. The CCP tactics and propaganda helped its support gain in rural areas, even though its military contribution was limited. The decline of the KMT popularity. The KMT lost support because it failed to deliver promised reforms after 1927. Land remained in the hands of wealthy landlords, leaving millions of peasants and poor landlords. Corruption was widespread, and the government was seen as serving elites rather than ordinary people. The New Life movement tried to strengthen society, but it mainly increased Chiang Kai-shek's control of improving conditions. The KMT also relied heavily on military force and censorship, and its weak resistance against Japan further reduced its popularity. The conclusion. By 1945, the CCP had gained a significant support due to land reform, strong propaganda, Mao's leadership, and its image as a nationalist force. During the war against Japan, in contrast, the KMT became increasingly unpopular because of corruption, weak reforms, and military failures. After Japan's defeat, China was left devastated and on the edge of civil war between the CCP and the KMT.